Clerk, please call the roll.
Cassidy,
Present.
West, Windhorst,
Present.
Crawford, Davis, Dubuclet, Freeze, Hirschauer, Jimenez, Niemer, Severin.
Good morning, and you know I'm here.
All right, you got 8 members present. There is a quorum.
With 8 members present, a quorum is met. Let's get on to business. I want to do a little bit of housekeeping here. We all know we are cruising at warp speed towards deadline. And so what I would like folks to keep in mind today is I don't think there's a single bill on the agenda that isn't coming back for an amendment. So sponsors and advocates, I'm going to ask that you please be very brief, be very clear that where you are in your negotiations, who you're negotiating with. Give me a general sense of what your bill is going to do when you come back and where you are in those negotiations. The more clear you are, the more concise you are, the fewer questions that spokesperson Windhorst is going to have for you until later. Those fights will happen, friends. Never fear. But today, we're just going to try to be as efficient as we can because we've got so many people trying to be in so many different places. So the more we cooperate, the more efficient our morning will be. With that, we can get underway. We're going to lead off with House Bill 5091 from Representative Crawford. Quick witness slip summary. Just to give, there's 132 proponents. So with leave of the spokesperson, I'll just give you a little flavor. We've got Gregory Chambers from the Illinois Coalition to End Permanent Punishments, and really, a couple hundred of his closest friends, all on self. 2 opponents, John Prince and Jacob Derrick from ICEJA, sorry, who I understand will not be able to be here today, but their issue is fiscal. So with that, Representative, take it away.
Thank you, Chair Cassidy. And my bill doesn't have to be held because my amendment did drop. So
oh, that's right. I think we need to
amendment.
do that. Sorry. So we want to adopt that amendment. Representative Jimenez moves that the committee do adopt Committee Amendment 1 to House Bill 5091. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted. Go ahead, Representative Crawford.
Thank you, Chair Cassidy, Spokesperson Windhorst, and colleagues of the Restorative Justice Committee. House Bill 5091, as amended, creates the Permanent Punishment Review Task Force. And I want to be clear about the problem we're trying to solve today. In Illinois, we estimate that nearly 4 million people, roughly 1/3 of our state's population, may have some form of arrest or conviction record. In Illinois, for many of these individuals, their sentence does not end when their case is closed. They face what this bill refers to as permanent punishments. Penalties or disadvantages tied to a criminal record that exist outside of the sentence itself. These are not prison, probation, or fines. These are barriers that follow people into every aspect of life, their employment, housing, education, and other opportunities. And according to the Never Fully Free report, there could potentially be hundreds of these barriers in the Illinois law. Laws impacting employment, affecting housing access, where many individuals are denied both public and private housing, and restrictions tied to occupational licensing as well as education. The evidence is clear. Barriers to employment and housing do not enhance public safety. In fact, instability in both is a key driver of recidivism. So we have to ask ourselves, are these policies still serving their intended purpose? Or have some of them become outdated, duplicative, or even counterproductive? This bill does not remove a single one of those policies. Instead, it creates a structured, bipartisan, data-driven process to finally evaluate them. This task force will catalog permanent punishments across Illinois law, assess whether they are evidence-based, and provide recommendations to this body on what should be maintained, modified, or reconsidered. It includes agencies, legislative appointees from both parties, and individuals with lived experience, ensuring that we are grounded in both policy and reality. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge that these impacts are not evenly distributed. Black and brown communities are disproportionately affected at every stage of the system, and as a result, disproportionately impacted by these permanent punishments long after a sentence is complete. Colleagues, this is about good governance and smart public policy. We routinely evaluate programs we fund. We should also evaluate long-term consequences of the laws we pass. If our goal is to reduce recidivism, strengthen families, and expand the workforce population, then we need policies that are not just tough, but effective. House Bill 5091 as amended gives us the tools to do that, responsibly, thoughtfully, and with data. I respectfully ask for your support. And today with me I have Mr. Gregory Chambers from the Illinois Coalition to End Permanent Punishment to offer testimony.
Thank you, Representative.
Turn on your mic. There you go.
Thank you, Representative. Okay, I'm going to be brief. I'm going to be able to do this in about 2 minutes or less.
And state your name for the record. And don't be nervous. Your bill's not coming back, so it's okay. We can fight over this one if we want.
Okay, my name is Gregory Chambers, Chambers. I am the Director of Policy for the Illinois Coalition to End Permanent Punishments. Now, I come before you today to ask you to look at the staggering human cost of a system that refuses to forgive. In Illinois, there are millions of people who have done exactly what society has asked of them. They have served their time and paid their debt imposed on them by a court of law. Yet, even after years of living crime-free and as productive members of society, they are not allowed to truly live fully free from those barriers we call permanent punishments. Now, instead of a path of rehabilitation, they are trapped by a vast web of hundreds of laws, policies, and rules effectively serving permanent punishments that restrict their most basic human and civil rights. These barriers actively deny them access to the fundamental pillars of a stable life, including crucial resources like housing, employment, education, and civic engagement. These invisible chains negatively impact their physical health and safety and restrict upward mobility by intentionally keeping many people with records trapped in poverty. And we must ask ourselves, who is really paying the price for these permanent punishments? These policies create devastating ripple effects that crush innocent children, fracture families, and destabilize entire communities, particularly communities of color, which endure the harshest impacts of the criminal legal system from arrest to sentencing. By shutting people out of society, we are not making our neighborhoods safer. We are actually putting individuals at greater risk of further involvement with the criminal legal system. Now, we are stripping them of their right to engage in their communities through elected or appointed positions, which is a profound affront to their voting and civil rights. Through the eye-opening 2020 Never Fully Free report that Dr. Representative Crawford referred to, tireless advocacy of the Fully Free campaign, which is beautifully co-led by the directly impacted individuals who live this reality every single day, we have been shown a clear path forward. We urgently need bold policy change to eliminate these permanent punishments and restore hope and opportunity to our constituents. So I implore you to support this proposed bill and establish a permanent punishments review task force. It is time to evaluate and dismantle the hundreds of laws, rules, and regulations that serve only to punish people long after their debt to society is paid. When you cast your vote, I ask you to think of the millions of people who are desperately trying to rebuild their lives, care for their children, and contribute meaningfully to our state. Do not let another family be suffocated by the weight of a past they have already atoned for. Please lead with compassion, stand for truth, restorative justice, and vote to support this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you. A little bit of housekeeping. Clerk, please add Representatives Fries and West to the roll. And I have a subletter from Speaker Welch replacing, permanent member Hirschauer with temporary member Morris. And with that, are there questions for the sponsor? Or, I'm sorry, there was a witness slip that said oral in opposition. Did somebody have, I think it was John Prince or something? No, I think that might have been an error. All right, are there questions for the sponsor or the witness? Representative West, and then spokesperson Windhorst. I know we talked about holding questions, but this one isn't coming back. So if you have questions about this one, gotcha. Okay, Representative West.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and forgive my lateness. I want to thank the sponsor for this bill. As I was reviewing this bill, it's something I was wondering why we haven't done it before. And so I'm just thank you for this. I'm looking forward to what comes out of this task force. I ask that you add me to this bill, either as chief or just a yellow sheet, whichever one you want to do. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Spokesperson Windhorst, do you have anything?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We show that ICEJA was initially opposed. Are they still opposed with the amendment, or what is their position?
ICEJA is opposed on fiscal grounds. They did offer language to, they offered a significant amount of language to this bill, so they're not opposed to the legislation. Capacity and fiscal challenges.
Did they propose any solutions to resolve that?
Yes, we
problem?
absolutely. We pushed the effective date out as far as we could on their ask in order to alleviate some of their capacity challenges that they currently have.
And we have talked about permanent punishments in the description of the bill and from the witness. We're not talking about prison sentences or fines, restitution. We're talking about ancillary effects from criminal conviction, most likely.
That is correct. Anyone, we are looking at punishments as we define in the bill as things that happen post the end of an individual paying their debt to society that was the judge that a judge ordered against them. Any sentences, any restitution would not be affected by this bill.
And you'd also mentioned some of the effects of the punishment affecting housing, employment, but I don't know that we gave an example of a permanent punishment, at least not that I heard. Could you give some examples of what a permanent punishment would be?
Absolutely. One of the main permanent punishments that was the driving force behind this is our executive director, Marlon Chamberlain. Marlon Chamberlain is a father. He was sentenced to prison, served his time, was convicted over 15, 16 years ago. But Marlon Chamberlain wanted to go to school with his kids to chaperone an event. And his kids came home crying, saying, you were denied an opportunity to do this because of a felony conviction that was at that time, more than 10 years old. And he was prevented from that because of that. But not just that. There are some other things. Like, for instance, there is under the notary law, you cannot become a notary public if you have a felony conviction. Now, we have. I had one example is one of our associates who works in government now. When he was released from prison, he went to do his parole in Ohio, and he was able to be a notary public in Ohio. But when he came to Illinois, he was then prevented from being a notary, and it was a requirement for his job. And so there are instances where people are barred from participating in employment and housing and things like that because of a permanent punishment.
So to the sponsor, the goal of this task force will be to review permanent punishments, make recommendations to the General Assembly about changes in the law to
Absolutely. Absolutely, Leader. That is our goal. We do plan to review what the work that the task force presents, and identify potential changes in statute that we can bring to the body.
I noticed that one of the members, some of the members of the task force are general, like representatives from the legislature, appointments from the legislature. state's attorneys, public defenders, but then there's one that seemed pretty specific, and I was wondering if there's an organization in mind. A representative of an organization comprised of people with a criminal record headquartered in a Southern Illinois community with a population of less than 50,000, appointed by the chair and vice chair. Is there an organization that you have in mind?
I can't recollect that we talked about a specific organization in mind, but I came on a little bit later.
Well, actually, that came from a conversation that I had with some Southern Illinois legislators who said that a lot of times that a lot of legislation blocks out, doesn't consider Southern Illinois. And so what we do at the Illinois Coalition to End Permanent Punishments, we address issues on every county in the state of Illinois, all 102 counties. We intend to have ambassadors in all 102 counties. And so what we said from that conversation is we're going to make sure that there is some representation from Southern Illinois in this legislation, because we want to make sure that there is a wide range of representatives from the state of Illinois as a part of this task force. So we don't just want to represent Chicago or even Central Illinois, but we want Southern Illinois to be included. So that was just us making good on a promise and a commitment to that legislator who had a specific concern for Southern Illinois.
Thank you for those answers. I will say that I do hear from members of the General Assembly that the amount of task forces we put forward every year and the amount of task forces individuals serve on has become to the point that they wonder how useful task forces really are. Because I've served on many myself. Some never got to the point where they even produced a report. Others produced a report. I'm not sure anybody besides the members of the committee read it. So I appreciate, and in fact myself, I've sponsored legislation to create a task force. So I'm not saying anything that I haven't done myself, I guess. I just, as a body, I think we rely too much on task forces to do our work that really doesn't do the work. So I will likely be a no for that reason, but I appreciate the description you've given. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? And I too have both sponsored and complained about task forces, and done well, they can really be a useful tool. So let's take this as an admonishment to you to make sure that this is meaningful and that we actually do follow through and take a look at the final product that the task force produces.
We're going to work it.
Awesome. With that, there being no further debate, Representative West moves that House Bill 5091 do pass as amended. Is there leave? With partisan leave being granted, on a vote of 7 in favor and 3 opposed, House Bill 5091 as amended, is declared passed and will be favorably reported to the House floor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair and Committee.
All right, moving right along. Do we have Leader Buckner? Oh, there you are. Excellent. The chair recognizes Leader Buckner to present House Bill 4135. Leader, as you're walking up, I'm going to share what I shared with folks at the beginning of the meeting. If your bill is coming back, we're going to do this as efficiently as possible. Just give us the quick and dirty where you are in your negotiations, who's involved, and your promise to return.
Fantastic.
And with that, let me get some witness slips going here. We have no proponents. 2 opponents. We've got Jim Kychek from the Illinois Sheriffs and Marvin Williams from IDOC, and 1 no position from Mike Zaleski from the Illinois State's Attorneys Association with a record of appearance only. With that, take it away, Leader Buckner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. HB 4135 creates a new section of the Unified Code of Corrections, and it's referred to as the Illinois Correctional Data and Transparency Act. What it does is it requires the Department of Corrections to submit to the General Assembly and publicly post a recidivism report. The report must include released cohort data and statewide release dates by offense, class, age, gender, county of commitment, facility, sentence type, release type, and the methods used to make those determinations. The release rates must also be published on a public dashboard. The bill also requires, within 60 days of the effective date, that an IT remediation plan with timelines, milestones, and responsible staff, monthly status updates until the first new report is posted, standing memorandas of understanding with the courts, ISP, and county jails for the data that is needed to compute the recidivism numbers, privacy protections, including aggregate and de-identified publication, with small cell suppression and legislative accountability if the annual report is more than 60 days late, and there's a penalty there. I am still working on this with the Sheriff's Association. I'll also tell you that DLC is opposed because of financial reasons. I'm still talking through things with them, and there are a number of typos and issues within this bill, including the date here, which says March 1st, 2026, as you guys see in your BAs. So asking to move this to second, to come back and hopefully have a much more robust amendment next week, and I get to see your beautiful faces again. Thank you.
Thank you, and I do look forward to having a robust discussion of this. I believe this is motivated by the stories last year that indicated DOC was not capable of calculating recidivism rates.
That's correct, Madam
So
Chair.
I want to make sure that we give ourselves plenty of time when it's time to have that conversation. So thank you for bringing this forward, and I appreciate your work on it. Leader Windhorst, do you have anything to add? All right, this one's coming back, folks. There being no further debate, Representative Jimenez moves that House Bill 4135 do pass with the caveat that it is being held on second and coming back for a very robust hearing.
Absolutely.
Okay, and we'll do partisan on that one again. With 7 votes in favor and 3 opposed, House Bill 4135 is declared passed and will be favorably reported to the House floor, and we eagerly await your amendment, Leader Buckner. Okay. All right, moving right along, we're going to go to Representative Slaughter to present House Bill 4639. Let me get us some witness slips going here.
Good morning. Wait, which one are we doing?
Do you want to
first,
start with
Madam Chair?
4639?
Sure.
Let's get some witness slips. We've got 61 proponents, including John Amdor from the Juvenile Justice Initiative, and a whole bunch of folks. Leave to waive the reading of the big list. Thank you. We've got 2 opponents, Mike Zaleski from the Illinois State's Attorneys Association, Jim Kychek from the Illinois Sheriff's Association, and 2 no position on the merits, Colin Morgan and Helpful Hummingbird. So with that, go ahead, Representative, and if you are coming, is this bill expected to come back with an amendment?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, excellent. Go ahead.
All right. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee, and I'll be brief as possible here, but HB 4639 allows courts to establish community mediation programs to provide citizen participation to address juvenile delinquency, and directs the court to offer to the parties the option to voluntarily participate in a restorative practice prior to entering a sentence. This is an initiative of the Juvenile Justice Initiative, and really want to require judges to consider the use of restorative justice practices in juvenile cases. I've got John Amdor here to also help me answer questions. Madam Chair, as I said in the beginning, this is coming back. In particular, there's discussions with the State's Attorneys Association.
Great, thank you. Leader Windhorst, do you want to add anything? All right. Any other questions from members? There being no further debate, Representative Davis moves that House Bill 4639 do pass with the understanding that it will be held on second and come back to us for a vigorous debate. With partisan leave being granted, we have 7 votes in favor, 3 votes opposed, and House Bill 4639 is declared passed and will be favorably reported to the House floor, but held on second to come back to us for an amendment. And then continuing on the order of slaughter, we've got House Bill 5302.
Yes, good morning again. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Madam Chair, I believe this one is not expected to come back, or at least there's been no discussions about an amendment.
Okay.
With that said, just giving you more context, I believe
appreciate that.
this is my 4th, maybe 5th time presenting this bill to the committee.
All right, but let's get some witness slips out of the way. Benjamin Riddell, ACLU of Illinois, appearance only. Katrina Fid, on behalf of self. Mark Mendoza, Emergent Biosolutions, one opponent. Jim Kychek from the Illinois Sheriff's Association with oral testimony. No position on the merits. Mike Zaleski, Illinois State's Attorneys Association. Take it away.
Yeah, just really briefly here, and members, you've heard this again, maybe this is the fourth time, fifth time. House Bill 5302 requires counties and the Department of Corrections to provide individuals that are released from incarceration with an opioid antagonist if the individual was incarcerated for drug-related charges or crimes. Many of us that keep up with this particular subject matter are seeing these bills and these efforts, not just here in Illinois, but across our country. We were able to get this particular bill out of the chamber last year and then also in 2024. Just providing a little bit more context here. Our mental health and substance abuse champions over on our side of the aisle, in particular, Chair LaPointe, is working on a larger, more omnibus bill. This is a component of that bill. While she's hard at work, that hasn't quite came together yet, but recognizing that this is a very important piece, we wanted to move this out and get this particular initiative moving.
Great, thank you.
I have no new answers. Hopefully, there's no new questions on this.
Is Mr. Kychek here to testify? He had indicated
I
oral.
haven't seen him this morning.
Okay. Questions from the body, and a reminder, this one is not coming back. So spokesperson Windhorst.
I don't believe it is, but
it may not be coming back.
Always
right?
open to
Yeah.
dialogue and to continuing to work and collaborate.
Great. But not necessarily.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead, Leader Windhorst.
Just briefly, this is the same bill we voted on a year ago or so, or 2 years ago, I believe, this last General Assembly. Is that
Last in 2025 and in 2024. Yes.
A bill's so nice, we've passed it thrice.
There has been some discussions around, is it a shall or a may? And this bill's drafted as a shall.
Okay, so there's a question about that. Okay.
Yeah, in both chambers over the last couple of years have been trying to tease that out. I will highlight that.
and, amendment to me. Yeah, and Representative, I know in the past these opioid antagonists have been available almost for free. They've been widely available, but is that still the case that they're widely available for free, or do you know if
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can add that the public health departments still do make them available via public health,
Okay.
for example, Cook County gets them all for free.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, there's multiple funding sources and a lot of use of the opioid settlement dollars to make these available. So it should not be a fiscal barrier for anyone.
Thank you.
That's it? All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, Representative Morris moves that House Bill 5302 do pass. Do we have leave? I want to be clear about full leave, not partisan leave. Full leave. Look at that. Look at us. With 10 votes in favor and none opposed. Mwahaha. With 10 votes in favor and none opposed, House Bill 5302 will be favorably reported to the House floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the community.
I'm sorry.
Have a good morning.
With 10 votes in favor, none opposed, House Bill 5302 is declared passed and will be favorably reported to the House floor. Cruising right along, we've got House Bill 4708 with Representative Katz-Mule. Some witness slips. We've got one proponent, Rebecca Levin from Treatment Alternatives for Stronger Communities with oral testimony. One opponent, Marvin Williams from IDOC, record of appearance only. Is this bill coming back with an amendment, or are we ready to cook?
It is, Chair, so we're going to be on the brief approach
Excellent.
today.
All right.
This is a bill that would establish a pilot program for long-acting injectable medications. We've had productive meetings with the Department of Corrections. Their team is here as well, the team from TASC, as well as John Howard Association, who have really helped us refine the bill to make it a better product. That draft is circulating amongst the team, and we expect to be back here with it. Appreciate the value of long-acting injectables. It's part of the work I did all the way back in my days at the legal aid clinic at the university with a different population. The department is doing great work phasing this in at different stages. And if we have the ability to, as a legislator, help direct some of the opioid settlement funds towards this particularly useful product that would help roughly a third of the people under medical guidance, that would be a real big win. So we'll be back with more details that are going to make the monitoring and the kind of implementation and funding more clear in the bill.
Great, I appreciate it. Are there any questions from members with the understanding that this bill is coming back? Okay, great. Seeing none, Representative Jimenez moves that House Bill 4708 do pass. Do we have leave? With partisan leave being granted, we have 7 votes in favor and 3 opposed. House Bill 4708 is declared passed and will be favorably reported Hang on, let me get some witness slips here. We have 17 proponents, including Dan Johnson from the Lawndale Christian Legal Center, David Eldridge from the Illinois State Bar Association, Elizabeth Rockford, Greg Chambers from the Illinois Coalition to End Permanent Punishment, and Charlene Grace from the law offices of the Cook County Public Defender, and several others that I request that we waive the full reading. Opponent Jim Kychek from the Illinois Sheriff's Association. Nobody with no position on the merit. And I see we have an amendment that you want to adopt. So Rep. Jimenez moves that the committee do adopt Committee Amendment 1 to House Bill 5434. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. The opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. And the amendment is adopted. And first question, is this bill coming back with another amendment, or are you ready to cook?
Yes, Madam Chair.
This bill will be coming back. Okay, so let's do the quick and dirty version, knowing that we're going to go deep in the weeds when you guys get back. Take it away, Representative Davis.
Quick and dirty. House Bill 5434 creates yet another task force, because I know this committee loves task force.
Big fans.
But what this task force would do would study and recommend improvements to the state's criminal justice system for emerging adults who are individuals aged 18 to 25. So we are still having robust conversations with various stakeholders like law enforcement, and I have my partner in democracy, Dan Johnson, here. He's here to answer any questions that you guys may have. Thank you.
If I may, Madam Chair, I get 1 minute of big picture thinking. It was 1899 when this body passed the first Juvenile Court Act, which inspired the rest of the country to follow suit. Jane Addams' cohort of crusading first-time women voters helped push this to kids of legislators. I recently learned were the driving force behind that. Julia Lathrop, with the Lathrop homes are named after, and Lucy Flower, both of whom were children of state legislators. This body is a special body in the country to come up with huge bipartisan law-changing ideas on the criminal justice system. So I think this committee is the first step in making that happen over the next 2 or 3 years in a bipartisan way. I'm optimistic and hopeful that Representative Davis is leading us down that bipartisan path, and I think Jim's going to agree to the amendment too. I believe it.
Keep hope alive, man. Are there any questions with the understanding that this bill is coming back? Go ahead, Leader Windhorst.
Just quickly, what brought this forward? Where did this idea come from?
Sure. Yeah.
So this is an initiative of the Lawndale Christian Center. They felt, well, what we do know is for these emerging adults, just looking at how they make decisions or from a scientific standpoint, we should probably treat them differently in our criminal justice system. So that's where the conversation started. And that's why we are attempting to just gather a bipartisan group of individuals who want to look at this issue further and see if there are solutions that we can come up with.
Great. Thank you. There being no further debate, Representative Jimenez moves that House Bill 5434 do pass as amended. Do we have leave? With partisan leave being granted, we have 7 votes in favor, 3 opposed. None voting present. House Bill 5434 is declared passed. House Bill 5434 as amended is declared passed and will be favorably reported to the House floor and will be back before us in relatively short order. We're going to sit at ease for a half a second here. There being no further business, the Restorative Justice and Public Safety Committee will recess to the call of the chair. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.